All right, so we've got our pico done, we've got our salsa done, so I'm gonna just make some guacamole now. I have a full video on this, an older video, as well as a free recipe on Serious Eats if you are interested in it. But the real key to great guacamole is a few simple ingredients. You know, all I'm gonna put in here is onions, chilies, and avocados, and cilantro, a little touch of lime juice and some salt. But the real key is to grind up those aromatics, the onions, the chilies, and the cilantro in a molcajete, in a mortar and pestle. So chilies, onions, a little fist of cilantro, some salt for help it grind up. And then we're just gonna pound this into a puree. Almost at a puree here. You know, the idea is that vegetable cells, plant cells, they're kind of like a stack of shipping containers, and inside each one are all these sort of aromatic substances. So if you put this inside like a blender or inside a food processor, or you chop it with a knife, you may break open some of those cells and release some of their contents. But it's kind of like, you know, if you have like a stack of sponges like this, you know, where let's say they're a little bit moist, that's the stuff that's inside them. Where if you're cutting through them, you kind of shear them apart and you kind of knock them over, but you don't necessarily like get all of those aromatics out from under there. Whereas if you're using a mortar and pestle, it's more like, you know, like Godzilla stamping on those shipping containers, and so you're really getting all those juices out. So you're just going to get a lot more flavor out of them if you use a mortar and pestle. Mortar and pestle, I think, one of the most underrated tools in the kitchen. It's one of my favorite tools. I use it all the time. Excellent for guacamole, but you can use it for a lot of other things. You know, like making curry pastes, grinding up garlic and ginger for, like, say you're making like an Indian dish where you want like a garlic ginger paste. It's excellent for making like a classic aioli, you know, like a real classic aioli where you're pounding garlic and you pound olive oil into it to get an emulsion. It's great for grinding up spices. It's excellent for all kinds of things where you want sort of like a really nice puree with a lot of flavor. All right, so we got our nice ripe avocados. I'm gonna go straight into our molcajete. Mortar and pestle also an excellent tool for kids to work with. Chen is in the other room and knows that we're cooking in here. That's his, I want some food. I want some food look. He'll get some later. Finally, a little lime juice. Not too much, you know. The primary flavor of guacamole, I think, is avocado. Season it nicely, and we'll kind of roughly crush up that avocado. Mix it into that puree. I really like the texture that you get out of a molcajete like this, as opposed to, you know, mashing it up with a fork, say, or a whisk works pretty well for mashing up avocado. A whisk in a standard bowl. But it's nice when you can make the puree, crush up the avocados, and do it all in one single vessel like this, and then serve it out of the same vessel as well. Make sure that we get all the puree mixed into there. Alright, beautiful. Let's give it a taste, make sure that the seasoning is on point. Doesn't need more lime juice or more salt. That was great. Alright, so there we go. Those are 3 excellent condiments for your taco bar, whether it's, you know, real sort of Mexican style street tacos or it's your gringo tacos, your hard shell crispy tacos. But we got some great guacamole, some charred tomatillo salsa, and some pico de gallo. You can find all these recipes on my Patreon, which you are probably on right now. So just look for them here and you'll find them. All right, I'm going to continue on to my taco party. So guys, gals, non-binary pals, I'll see you at the party.